Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is Best of One Day, so we're going to head into the battlefield with our Pew Pew Bant Arc Boo deck. Alright, so this is a build-around deck built around the card Vivian's Arcbow, which is a 2-mana legendary artifact. It says pay X and tap to discard a card, and then you get to look at the top X cards of your library. You may put a creature card with converted mana cost or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So Vivian's Arcbow is in a pretty decent spot right now. The only thing that it's bad against is, I guess, 3 Fairy, but purely for the sense that the -3 can bounce the Arcbow. But other than that, Vivian's Arcbow is notably not card draw. It is uncounterable creatures if you hit them, and it's also flash as well, so we can play on our opponent's turn. It does not actually get affected by Teferi's tick up or anything like that, so we actually get to use Vivian's Arcbow to its fullest extent, which is something that you can't say about many Magic cards these days because of the degenerate card pool that currently exists in Standard right now. So Vivian's Arcbow, we want to be building this in a very creature-focused deck, as I mentioned, so we are running a grand total of 28 creatures in here. 8 of them are going to be mana dorks, and the reason for that is you want to be able to make sure that that X is as high as possible. So we have Llanowar Elves on our turn 1 play, which leads nicely into our turn 3s, or our turn 2 3-mana plays. Vivian giving flash to creatures, very relevant to Fairy, shutting out a lot of strategies. It basically is in here because he's very good. It's hard not to run him, honestly, in decks like this. But yeah, and then we've also got Paradise Druid as well, which, because we're a 3-colour deck, we can really use the 1 mana of any colour ability there to fix our mana and get us to these things quite nicely. Paradise Druid, notably as well, goes from turn 2 up to our turn 4 plays, so we have this entire block here enabled by our mana dorks, very important. But yeah, mostly it's here for if we get an Arcbow, we actually get to additionally make more mana to churn into this thing. This is the best mana sink in the game, and once we've got Vivian's Arcbow in play, the likelihood is that we stop casting spells from our hands. So the discard a card there, not entirely irrelevant, but you know, mostly irrelevant. What we want to be doing is basically just discarding our top decks that we just don't like. So making land drops to get more Vivian's Arcbow value is very good. Other than that, though, we'd basically just want to be throwing it in the trash. So, you know, discarding Tolsimir on the off chance that we Arcbow Tolsimir is honestly a legitimate play that you can make with this deck. But yeah, let's go through some of the stuff that we're going to be Arcbowing. So as we mentioned, there's a little bit of a flash synergy. So we have the 4 copies of Nightpack Ambusher. 4 mana for 4/4 with flash. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1, and at the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, create a 2/2 wolf creature token. So notably, Vivian's Arcbow is not casting those spells, it is just putting them into play. So that means we can use this whenever we want, and we get to still trigger the Nightpack Ambusher. We also have flash on Frilled Mystic as well. Green, green, blue, blue for a 3/2 with flash. When it ends the battlefield, you may counter target spell. So this is our counter magic in the deck to allow us to tempo our opponent out if we don't like what they're doing. We can stop them from doing it, and we can do it whenever we want as well. Notably, doing it on our opponent's turn is the best place to do it because Nightpack Ambusher exists. We have this proactive-reactive combo here. So we can hold up and Frilled Mystic to stop our opponent from doing whatever they want, essentially interacting with their plan. But if they don't do anything, we just flash in a Nightpack Ambusher, and suddenly we're being proactive instead of reactive. We get a 4/4 into play for 4, which is very good value, and because we're not going to be playing anything on our turn, we also start generating wolves, and we can leave open that Frilled Mystic the moment we untap to protect the Nightpack Ambusher. It is a disgusting combo if you can get these both together. We also have Deputy of Detention as well to wipe the board. Very useful against the Field of the Dead, Scapeshift decks, things like that. Get to take care of all of the zombies. And we can also flash it in using the Vivian's Arcbow. So if our opponent does have the Teferi Tick Up, Scapeshift, End Step, Scapeshift kind of plan, we can still Arcbow out a Deputy of Detention and upset our opponent's battle plan there. So we have a pretty decent Scapeshift matchup for that reason alone. Night of Autumn just as a one-of, nice catch-all for the enchantments and artifact removal. We have 2 copies of Shalai, which is also kind of a pseudo counterspell. In that sense, it's a 4-mana 3/4 with flying. Says you, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof. So if your opponent fires lightning strikes at your creatures and you really don't want it, you can Arc Bow for your Shalai. If you hit Shalai, then all your stuff gets hexproof, and whatever was being targeted suddenly fizzles, and you have no troubles there as well. So pseudo counter magic, because you can just get your opponent to play a spell and do nothing with it, so it's very nice. We also have a copy of Spark Double in here, which has a number of uses. It basically allows us to get extra value out of our legendary spells. So 4 mana for a 0/0 that comes into play as a copy of another creature or planeswalker you control, except for it enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, or a loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker, and it loses legendary if that permanent is legendary. So one fun combo we can have with Spark Double is actually copying Shalai. Shalai gives other creatures hexproof, so if we have a Spark Double in play, Spark Double loses legendary and copies Shalai, and they both give each other hexproof, which means until the end of the game, unless we lose a Shalai through board wipes or anything like that, all of our stuff has hexproof for the rest of the game. And we also have 2 3/4s. Well, we have a 3/4 and a 4/5 in play, which dodges a lot of good stuff. So pretty sweet there. Biogenicus, just as a 5-mana 2/2 that makes another 2/2, which then turns them into 3/3s. Very good at flashing in, so very nice on the Vivian there. We can end step this Biogenicus to dodge some removal, and then we get our end step. We get to maybe use our turn to actually just sink mana into the 2/2 again. Allows us to get that Night Pack Ambusher value, because if we're not spending our mana on our turn or planning to do it on theirs, we can actually just spend it on making ooze tokens, which then get +1/+1, which is pretty sweet, going wide, kind of like the Ambusher does as well. And then we have Tolsimir, Friend to Wolves. 5 mana for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you get to create Voja, Friend to Elves, a legendary 3/3 green and white wolf creature token. Whenever a wolf enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life, and that creature fights up to one target creature you don't control. Very good combo with Night Pack Ambusher. Night Pack Ambusher makes wolves. Tolsimir forces those wolves to fight something, so we basically ban small creatures from ever existing, while also gaining life, which gives us the edge against the aggro matchups as well. So that is essentially the deck. Without further ado, I'm going to showcase this gameplay, but before I do, if you'd be so kind as to hit that like button and subscribe if you are enjoying the content, greatly helps out the channel a great deal. If you're not enjoying the content, by all means don't bother, but it really helps out nonetheless. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy the matchups, and I'll see you in the arena. Alright, we're in, and we've got to turn to Vivian, Champion of the Wilds, I guess. No blue mana, though. I think we can keep this one, though, on the strength of this play here. We'll have to see, though. I mean, bolting the bird is going to be pretty grim, if they can pull it off. Which, yep, obviously, mono red is going to be the matchup we come up against, so... Stranded. Alright, give me some blue cards. Looks like Cavalcade. And we got a Paradise Druid. Okay, well that's blue mana, I suppose, at the very least. But I'm not sure that that's really going to help us out. Land and swing, we will allow it. Probably want to use the Paradise Druid here to, yep, bounce Chandra's Spitfire. I actually had a game once where this entire setup was played, and I was like, I'll be fine, and then they went, land, Cavalcade, 21 you or something like that. It made me very sad. Anyway, I'm wondering whether or not I want to tap down the Paradise Druid. I think that they've got better things to do than kill my Paradise Druid, so... I'm just gonna not shock myself. This isn't a fight. And bounce that Spitfire so I can live an extra turn. Might be a bad idea. Living one more turn seems pretty great to me. Alright, so they play Spitfire again because they obviously have Cavalcade. Yeah, and they want to make sure that that cavalcade kills me right on time.
This is hardly my
Alright, Teferi is down, but he's done his job, so we don't really care. Alright, get rid of Chandra's Spitfire. We want to hope our opponent has no more shocks, no more lightning strikes, so that we can start blocking some of these. I believe we can block the courier. I don't really want to hover them, just in case it gives my opponent ideas. But one of them, I believe, says you can't be blocked by walls. I'm just going to do it. Can't be blocked its turn except for by creatures with defenders. So this one can be unblockable. And yeah, this one only gives haste to another creature. And look, I hovered, so now they're hovering. I bet they wouldn't have even known about that dodger plan had I not hovered. It is what it is. Light up the stage. Alright. And yep, there's Chandra Spitfire coming right back. It's alright. At least we've got another Deputy of Detention. I was hoping to hold open Frilled Mystic, but looks like I wouldn't have an opportunity to do anything great anyway. Could get down Biogenic Ooze. They're going to be drawing 3 cards next turn. So I might want to hold open Frilled Mystic, but at the same time, I feel like if I'm just dead, I'm just dead anyway. Let's get Biogenic Ooze down. Let's get the ooze growing. Allows me to dodge shocks at the very least. Or get a 2-for-1 if they do have a shock. So yep, they go up to 3 cards. Got to dodge Cavalcades. And we get a 2-for-1 there, so that's not too bad. Teen Street Dodger. And final card, maybe? Probably not. Yeah, taking 1. So we get to take the Spitfires out of play. Which means much less damage. Inland Harbour, eh? Well, that does mean that I can go with a Vivian instead, and then I can flash in the Deputy of Detention. For whatever that's worth. Minus Vivian. Let's see what we can get. We can only cast creatures with Vivian's minus. So, yeah, we'll just take the only one we can cast. And I guess we just swing in with an ooze. Is this a bit too risky? Basically, they're going to be able to hit me for 3 for each 1/1. My Biogenic Ooze is going to be a 4/4. My Deputy is not going to be able to survive the Spitfire attack, so we just block 1, take 6. Yeah, it might be okay. This might be a bit aggressive, honestly. It might not be something that I have to do. But we doing it. And then we turn them up to a good old Fofo. So that we can survive a little bit of damage, potentially. Alright. So I'm wanting my opponent to just kind of go all in. So I can flash in Deputy and hopefully dodge whatever bullet that is in my opponent's hand. I guess we'll just go... Yeah, we might as well fire it off now, because honestly the courier is the only thing that can be blocked by Biogenic Ooze anyway, so... Let's do this now, because obviously if they've got the burn spell, they're going to fire it off anyway. Ooh, wow, we actually got it. Okay, well, there might be some hope for us now. Swing for 6. Interesting. Well, they had lethal anyway. Alright. Alright. Okay, we're in, and we have a turn 4 Biogenic Ooze, but also a turn 3 Teferi. So we go Paradise Druid, Teferi, Ooze. Seems pretty decent. We got the mana for it. Depends on how fast our opponent is, but being on the play means that that is less relevant to us. And green mana, but no Llanowar Elves. Alright, I think we're in the money. Where are we going with our play? I think I'll just go Hallowed Fountain, Paradise Druids. Then we can do Teferi, bounce if we need to, tap land, Temple Garden, something like that. Green, black, and Spore Crown Thallid. Alright, that is a 2-mana do-nothing, which is pretty decent for us. And looks like we're up against Saprolings, which means Deputy Detention is going to be pretty disgusting as well. I do want to shock myself here, purely to keep the Paradise Druid untapped, so that they don't have, like, cast downs and things like that. I want to make sure that my Biogenic Ooze comes down next turn, so we're not going to hit for 2 here, because we do have the potential to hit for much, much more later down the line, and my opponent's inclined to maybe play the things we already know about. Alright, they're just going to be playing mana efficient, which is fair. So we're going to go Biogenic Ooze. Make some 3/3s, tick up to Fairy.
I'll protect you.
And we got the blockers now. We can do another Biogenic Ooze the turn after, and I think we just outvalue our opponent. So we've shocked ourselves quite aggressively. I think it goes without saying. I will double block the Slime Foot as well if they give me the opportunity. I think it goes without saying we aggressively shocked ourselves, but I believe we're in a position now where it's going to be hard for us to lose. I think, honestly, a Shalai to protect my oozes is maybe better than playing another ooze. That being said, these are going to be pretty big. Yeah, alright. Pretty big, and my opponent has no black mana untapped, so this is probably the best time to play them.
Let's try this.
And we'll pass for a little while, because we're now getting 2 counters on each ooze every turn. We can even activate the ooze to make some more oozes if we want to. So we have to dodge like Legion's End or something like that. Poison-tipped Archer, eh? Well, we can bounce that at some point. So I'm going to tick up.
That's more like it.
And I think we want to get Shalai in. Shalai protects my oozes. Alternatively, what I could do is Vivian's Artbow and Paradise Druid, and then I've got an Artbow discard available for me next turn, which would get me a 6 mana cost card. Yeah, okay. I've sold myself. Swing for 5. I want to give them a reason to block with Poison-tipped Archer. I don't think they would, though. But you never know, right? Yeah. Just take the 5. Using their life total as a resource there. So they get to keep a board state that they might not otherwise had. And honestly, because our oozes are growing and growing and growing, Tender Shoot Dryads probably gotta go. Another Arc Bow. I mean, I can always just, like, say no.
Oh, I've done the hero thing.
Force them to play another 5 mana 2/2. And now we've got a pretty decent board state. Do have a Shalai, and then we can X3. I don't like the idea of an X3, though. I think we can comfortably swing like so. See how our opponent blocks. If we need to, we can make another ooze. Otherwise, we're going to go X. Is it 7 now? 3, 6, 7, yeah. X7 on the Artbow. And just put our opponent in an impossible situation. So, our opponent's at 2. We can Deputy the Poison-tipped Archer. I mean, we could have probably gone for the Shalai, I suppose, because we knew that our opponent was going to do this. But honestly, I want to play around with the Artbow a little bit. So I'm going to make a intentionally suboptimal play, just to mess around with my own cards. Tolsimir, eh? Tolsimir seems good. Make a 3/3, fight the Archer. Alright, and now we've got the board state to just win. Opponent makes a sapperling, we deputy, we get rid of both the sapperlings, and we all attack. Pretty good, pretty good. Alrighty then, let's have a look-see. Turn 3 Deputy and turn 4 Ambusher into turn 5 Tolsimir. So, I'm looking at this hand and I'm seeing this and this comboing together wonderfully. This basically means I don't have to play Magic anymore. The game just plays for me. And this slows our opponent down, presumably until I can get to this. And we have a backup plan. So all I really need to do is hit lands and mana dorks. I'm going to take this one. I'm not sure if it's too slow. We'll find out. We'll learn together. This video is a learning experience for both you and I. And we got ourselves a dismal backwater over there. Sometimes could be budget. Sometimes it's going to be a Field of the Dead deck. Gateway Plaza. Yeah, I think it's a Field of the Dead deck. And we managed to get our third land, but we have nothing to deputy right now, so we're kind of missing out on that value. But how are we supposed to know our opponent had no intentions of playing anything? Saheeli, I see you're a fan of the Supreme Friends. Alright, well, we're just going to shock. If we need to Frilled Mystic, we have that option open now, but honestly, we're just going to be Night Pack flashing, and I think we're going to win on that plan instead. I don't think my opponent can make enough. Ooh, Narset. Does that ever do anything? It stops Teferi Time Raveler, and that's honestly about it. Yeah, you can have that. I'm just going to Night Pack Ambusher, which is going to allow me to take down Narset. Actually, no, it's not, because this is a 2-2 and it comes on end step. Boo, hiss to Fairy Time Raveler. I have my Frilled Mystic, so no troubles there. Get swinging, get rid of that servo, make a 2-2. Yeah, we absolutely do need to Frilled Mystic the Teferi Time Raveler. Tolsimir combo with Night Pack Ambusher is not looking so grim anymore. Mostly because there are no creatures except for 1/1s, so we just really don't care. Alright, now set. Spare Teferi. Well, ain't that convenient. At least we have a Deputy Detention, I suppose. Alright. Frilled Mystic Teferi. Absolutely taking the action there. And let's see. Where do we want to go? We have one thing blocked, which is going to be our Night Pack Ambusher. So we can either kill Saheeli, or we can kill Narset and damage Saheeli. Narset's not doing anything anymore, though, because we don't actually draw cards in this deck. We use our card advantage Arcbow engine instead. So, really nothing to worry about there. We have something getting bounced next turn, which is probably going to be a wolf token, if I had to guess. I think I'm just going to make the board clear. Fight the servo token. We do have to dodge counter magic as well. Let's see. Let's kill Saheeli. And let's just go at Narset, at face. We don't care about Narset, as we mentioned. We don't really draw cards outside of our own Teferi Time Raveler. And I'm not losing out on damage to face for the potential of a 2 of in my deck. Not being able to draw a card once during its lifetime. I imagine this is where they go Teferi Time Raveler and bounce a token, though. Either that or they're digging for a board wipe. Looks like board wipe is what we're going for. So what we're planning on doing then is going to be flashing in a Night Pack Ambusher. And probably playing absolutely nothing unless our opponent gives us good reason to. Yeah, I'll play Paradise Druid later. So let's go up face. Opponent's at 4. Could we have actually won? No, we'd have put them to 1 if I'd have flashed in Nightpack Ambusher. This actually gives Wolves +1/+1. I kind of forget about that, to be honest, because I only use it for that right there. But yeah, that would have put them to 1. I guess if we'd have left Saheeli alone, they would have had a servo, so they would have been able to dodge about 4 damage there as well. So going after the Planeswalkers wasn't the right idea. There's the Fairy Time Raveler. Okay. I think we allow this, because we don't really want to commit into a board wipe, per se. Then again, they don't have Kaya's Wrath, they don't have Time Wipe. They could have Ritual of Soot, but Nightpack Ambusher survives that, Tolsimir survives that, Frilled Mystic survives that. I'm going to flash this in. I don't think there's much that can happen to us here that stops us from winning.
Stand by and watch.
Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I believe my opponent's dead no matter what they bounce here with Teferi. My other alternative is just to let this happen and then go Deputy and take care of Teferi that way. That plays around the potential board wipe, but I just don't think they've got one. Judging by the rope. May suggest my opponent's not too pleased about what's just happened here. Yeah, this game does suffer from connection issues. So, you know, benefit of the doubt, you know, my opponent's maybe lost connection, but it's convenient that it happens when I'm, you know, presenting lethal on 17 different fronts. Wham, my deck didn't work. Alright, let's go. Sweet. Yeah, really nice to see when our build around card actually doesn't show up that we are able to pretty much close out a game very, very easily. So, quite happy about that, but I am interested in seeing Arcbow actually do a thing at some point, so let's go for another game. Okay, we have turn 2 Paradise Druids, turn 3 Shalai, maybe? If we're playing on curve. I'm going to keep this hand, but it doesn't have a clear line of play. Well, now it does. Now it does. We're going to go with the Temple Garden here, since we have a Selesnya hand, basically. And our opponent with their Opt or Spectral Sailor. Choose wisely. It's an Opt. Okay. Turn 2 Teferi would be very nice if we could top deck that. And looks like either the Whizbangs, maybe Grixis, but mostly Wizards, I think. Lava Coil. That's annoying, actually, but manageable. I think we go with Vivian -2. Our opponent can Lava Coil a tapped out Llanowar Elves if they want. I'm pretty sure they won't want to.
Wait.
Nightpack Ambusher.
Nature is kind?
That's a pretty decent one to get off of Vivian. That means we can flash that in next turn, potentially. Of course, we do have to dodge a Lava Coil. So, we've got to put something in the way for our opponent that they'll want to actually coil away. They could have Shocks, Lava Strikes, Lightning Strikes, things like that on Vivian anyway. My guess is that they don't respect Vivian all that much.
I'm not losing everything again.
See, I reckon that they actually did have the removal for Vivian there. They're just choosing not to use it. Maybe they want to hit the Llanowar Elves instead, that kind of deal. There's an Opt. And Lava Coil on Llanowar. Fantastic. Alright, that's exactly what we wanted to see. So we get Vivian out of range
Let me show you
of
what
our
was
opponent.
lost.
And, yep, we pass on through. Flashing Paradise Druid on end step. Because we can. Ral, Storm, Conduit. Alright. Well, flashing our Druids.
What would you risk to beat me? You like the gauntlets? Built them myself.
Built to myself. Thank you, Ral. Alright, so ticking up on Vivian is going to be our plan. We can, like, Tolsimir or something like that if we feel like it on our opponent's
Now
turn.
we're getting started.
Yeah, we are. Alright, Vigilance and Reach on my Paradise Druid, please. So I can threaten my opponent. Sun Petal Grove, so I have 5 mana. And
that hurt.
yeah, I think we pass, because we can actually flash in Shalai as well and give us and our creatures hexproof, and our planeswalkers as well. So any burn that they actually fire anywhere, this is basically a counter spell. If we want to use it that way. Augur of Bolas, yes, that is fine. If we don't feel a need to actually do any of that stuff... Ooh, Sinister Sabotage, but no double blue. So this is our opportunity to resolve something. Question is, what do we want to resolve? Opponent doesn't know what this card is, for the record. Alright, this seems pretty nice. I mean, we... Seems pretty nice, but is it pretty nice? We can potentially kill an Augur of Bolas. We get 2 blockers, essentially. If they've got the strike, then I don't really want to lose the ambusher to it either. I'm going to Tolsimir here. Make a wolf which fights this Augur. This wolf fights this Augur. And yeah, we got some decent value there. Opponent can now choose to copy their lightning strikes if they want to.
And then you die.
But they can only get rid of, presumably, 2 of our creatures here, so we're going to lose our Vivian,
I'm
sure.
a survivor.
Going after my Vodja token. Vodja, friend to the Elvez.
Don't worry,
do this
I won't rain
again.
on your parade.
Alright, well. Annoying, not the end of the world. We can still bring in another Tolsimir. We can kill Ral here, so we're definitely in the driver's seat now.
Way to change what just happened.
I think what we're going to do, though, is we're just going to flash in Nightpack Ambusher. So maybe I shouldn't have actually shocked myself there. I changed my mind as I was doing it. But of course, they do have Sinister Sabotage, which we do have to play around. So they can't play any blue spells if they want us to stay the way we are. And the thing is, because I've shocked myself, yeah, I reckon they're inclined to pass because they're going to wonder why I shocked myself. So we got him. We got him, chat. My clearly expert play got them to do nothing last turn. So we'll play that. We'll play a Paradise Druid. See if they counter. They don't. So we shock them ourselves. Because it worked last time, so why would it work right now? Gotta dodge that Sinister Sabotage any way we can, and we're doing this by bamboozling our opponent. Bamboozle with upside, because we actually can go through with our play if we really want to. Otherwise, we're now hitting for 4 turns, which is pretty decent. I think they're passing again. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, please, game, give me nothing to do next turn. That'd be pretty sweet. Oh, that's pretty good, though. Alright, that definitely wants to resolve. So now we actually do throw something under the bus to make Vivian's Art Bow resolve. What's the play? Shalai is pretty easy bait. Night Pack is probably better, though, for the Arc Bow shenanigans. I'm going to go with the Shalai. It almost certainly gets that sabotage out of them. And giving hexproof to all of our stuff as well is very, very tasty. Alright. So, what we've done there is we've had our Shalai countered, but now, because we get to play Art Bow, we never have to play anything into a counter spell ever again. So we've basically just banned the other 3 or so counter spells that are in their deck. Because we're not actually casting anything here, we're just putting it into play. Flame Sweep, sure. That actually sucks a little bit. That's 2 of the mana from our Art Bow. A Braid. No. Oh wait, wrong standard. God, I hated a Braid. It was so awful. Alright, we have no intention of actually playing Tolsimir. So we won't. We'll probably just discard it to Art Bow. I mean, we could discard Tolsimir to Art Bow and just get a Tolsimir anyway. Alright. Well, I do like the idea of Llanowar Elves Night Pack Ambusher. So I think I'll do that underneath our opponent's possible Sinister Sabotage. There we go. Llanowar Elves gives us an extra plus on the Art Bow, so very important there. Night Pack Ambusher. Obviously, if we're not casting anything, which Vivian's Art Bow is not a cast, then Ambush is going to make some 2/2s or 3/3s until the end of time. And see what our opponent can do. You got the Electromancer. What do you do with it? I think they're probably holding open like lightning strikes and things so that they can block Electromancer on the Night Pack Ambusher and get us. Ooh, Spark Double though. Spark Double, Ambusher. They've got Sinister Sabotage open. I'm not going to open myself up to that. As well as potential for double removal spell as well. Means that Spark Double just becomes a Llanowar Elves. I'm not into that idea. So hit him for 4. Take you down to 10. You could always hit a Shalai off of the Art Bow as well, so we might be inclined to do it on our turn. If they go for double removal spell on the Ambusher. Lightning Strike. Alright, yeah, we're going to take a shot at it. So, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on, Shalai, one time. One time, Shalai. I'm going to get rid of Spark Double. Come on. We know you've only got opts if you've got anything to do at all, so let's see what we can do. Well, it's a Frilled Mystic. Also gets rid of the shock. So, yeah, I'll just counter the shock. Uncounterable counterspell. And we wasted our opponent's Lightning Strike. We still get a 3/3 because we never cast anything on our turn. Thanks to Arc Bow. Niv Mizzet. Okay. Well then. Let's swing in with you and you. If they block with Niv Mizzet, we play Tolsimir and we fight the Niv Mizzet. Otherwise, looks like we're blocking an Electromancer. They're going to have to block eventually. They're just taking it. Owie. Okay. From there then, what are we doing? think we are passing. Because we can't kill Niv Mizzet. We can only make a 4-4 with Tolsimir. It's possible Arkbow could have revealed a Tolsimir. Alright, well. Float the mana, because we can use it on Arkbow. It looks like they're going to the next phase. Okay, so 3, 6, 7. Dump the Arkbow. Since we have a spare. The good thing about Arkbow is it does replace itself in a weird roundabout fashion. It gets rid of all of those bad draws. Another Night Pack Ambusher. Okay. Turn our ambushers into 5/5s means less likely to die to Niv Mizzet. Or it's going to take a lot more than what our opponent can push out, maybe, to get rid of everything. And now Tolsimir actually does make a 5/5, which can fight Niv Mizzet. For whatever that's worth. Looks like we probably don't need that, though, because we have the fight on the Electromancer to have an open board state to just swing through. I presume we're losing one ambusher at least, though. But I don't see that being too much of an issue. Negate is a very good card to lose, opponent. It was quite the bad card for you. Alright. Looks like they might be trying to kill us. I mean, they do have cost reduction, so let's assume that they've got some... Oh, they actually could kill us. Interesting. Yeah, let's assume that they've just got a handful of burn spells. We definitely just lose. Oh, the BM. Oh no, okay, we're not. Good game, I guess. Well, couldn't get there in time, but I thought I was being BM'd by that oops. I thought it was going to be an oops, look at the hand I drew. But no, it wasn't. It was just our opponent making a mistake, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, pretty good Arkbow turn. So, pretty good. Pretty good. Let's go for another one. Alright, we're in, and we see a hand like this quite a lot, actually. I think it's a perfectly fine hand. We're going to keep it. We've got turn 2 Paradise Druid, turn 3 Teferi. We are on the draw, of course, so we're a little slower than our opponent, presumably. But we have Sun Petal Grove, so we don't have to shock ourselves to the Paradise Druid. Bark-Eyed Troll. Ah. I see. I know about this deck. Well, it could be a number of decks, to be honest. It could be either a Boggles kind of deck. Bark-Eyed Troll's very good. It's probably the only good Boggle that we've had recently. Green-White doesn't change my mind about that, but Elvish Rejuvenator is a bit of a weird one. Does kind of look like a green Stompy list, though, of some sort. Alright, so I'm just going to go Glacial Fortress, and I'm just going to bounce the Bark-Eyed Troll. Leave back Paradise Druid to block the Rejuvenator, because I'm going to be forced into doing that for pretty much keeping Teferi alive purposes. That being said, do I care? I don't know. We're going to leave back anyway. How much does Teferi matter to me? Opponent can't play at instant speed, but they're mono green. They could just play Nissa next turn. So it wouldn't really matter to me. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the mana instead. Vine Mare. Okay. Yeah, I think we just go tap land, say go. Start building up our resources a little bit. Could play the Biogenic Ooze. It is an option. It allows us to block Vine Mare. This can't be blocked by black creatures, but I think flashing in Night Pack Ambusher and holding open Frilled Mystic is also quite nice. Gives us a proactive play, gives us a reactive play. And definitely want to say no to that. Alright, we made the right choice. Yeah, we would have had, like, oozes if we'd have gone with the other play to block Vinemare for a while, but it's only a matter of time until they give their creatures trample, so honestly, I just don't think the alternative line for us was really good there. I'm going to get in with my 3-2. Yeah, it's either a trade with the Paradise Druid, which I'm fine with, or it's a trade with the Vinemare, which I'm also just fine with. And yeah, just pass. Got to dodge Blanchwood Armor or another auras again, because once they're on the Vinemare, they're there to stay. Yep, you can keep your Barkite Troll. And this is now where they go for... Yep, first one was bait. Next one was what they planned on playing. So we will say no. We're not falling for your trickery. And they have no good attacks again. And maybe now I feel like I should probably just go with the ooze since we can't counter things anymore. So we'll go Biogenic Ooze. We got some chump blockers to allow us to build ooze token power up a little bit. And I'm even going to shock myself to play another Paradise Druid here just because it gives me more mana to play with. If we ever get Vivian's Art Bow, we're in an insanely good position. Alright, I'm getting in. Can't stop me, won't stop me. You're at 9. Once they've got no good blockers as well, then they'll be forced to... Well, actually, yep, there's the trample. Alright, that is a clock. If we don't block here, we've got block, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we just got lethal. Opponent just killed themselves. And a Deputy of Detention as well. Alright. Let's make sure that we have the win. Swing. Yeah, so even if they'd have held back, we would have had the Deputy to win the game there, which is pretty decent. But yeah, I think there was some really clutch counters there. I don't think we would have won if we'd have let any of those Blanchwood Armors go, especially knowing that our opponent would have had Prodigious Growth as well. I did kind of call it that was a Boggles deck. It was either going to be a Stompy list or a Boggles list, and I was a little bit worried about Onsera's Wings and the white there, to give all of the horrible, horrible things like lifelink to their big stuff that we just couldn't deal with. The only way we could deal with it is basically with Teferi, and only then could we just block the auras, bounce the auras for a turn. We couldn't actually block the creatures, so really lucky matchup for us. We were very fortunate that we drew our Frilled Mystics and they didn't draw more action than we drew answers, so pretty decent, pretty decent. Alright then, let's have a look-see. This looks a little bit too expensive. We get to play an Art Bow, but we can't use it. We want this kind of much later in the game, to be honest, or when we have Mana Dorks. So, because we have none of that available to us, this is going to be basically a dead card, which means we got a 2-lander with a lot of 4 and 5 drops. So, an easy mulligan here. And this looks pretty sweet. We've got Paradise Druid on turn 2. What are we going to bin, though? Is the question. I think maybe it's Deputy of Detention. It is our only interaction, though. Could be Vivian, I suppose. Then again, Vivian and Nightpack Ambush should go very well together in this deck. I'm going to go with the Deputy. The mana base seems good. Water Grave for our opponent seems awkward. Search for his Cancer. Sultai Control? I don't really know. Honestly, the green has me stumped with the Search for Ascanta. Leafkin Druid. Maybe a mid-range deck with a Search for Ascanta. Who'da thunk it? Alright, where do we go from here? We could go with the Vivian. Vivian minus have Llanowar Elves to flash in. Yeah, sure. So let's minus Vivian. Our creature count should be high enough that we get lots of choice. And honestly, I think maybe it's just the Paradise Druid, although if we don't draw Art Bow, then the mana's less important. I guess we have to go with the Biogenic Ooze for that reason. And we're going to pass. No attacks, because obviously we can't attack in, and we want to end step our opponent with our Llanowar Elves, because it reduces the hexproof off of our Paradise Druid, and nobody's got time for that. Alright, let's let them do their thing before I flash in my elf. Risen Reef, though, and Field of the Dead. Ah, it's all coming together now. Alright, well, let's give Vigilance to the Paradise Druid.
In nature.
Allows me to attack in and still maintain hexproof and the ability to tap it for mana. Obviously, we know my opponent's never going to block in a million years because Risen Reef is a powerful card. But now we've got the access to Nightpack Ambusher or Frilled Mystic, which is the best place to be. There's a reason why there is a deck built around this. It's because it's very good. We can either be proactive or reactive simultaneously. It's pretty good. Journey to Eternity. Sure. We could actually flash in Deputy and get rid of Risen Reef. Alternatively, we have the Night of Autumn as well. But they could have a spell that says as an additional cost sacrifice, and therefore we can't react to it that way. I'm going to try and take Risen Reef off the board. 2 for 1. Sweet. Alright, so Journey goes into the bin. Risen Reef goes under the Deputy. It's pretty much where we want to be. We've practically counterspelled our opponent that way. We can now -2 Vivian to get some more information.
Tear it all down.
And we can only take creatures with Vivian. It's one of the downsides of the card, unfortunately for us. Where do we go from here? We've got 5 mana. We could swing in with a Paradise Druid, but blocking on a Healer of the Glade is just not a good value proposition for me. So I'm just going to keep passing. And we can flash in a Biogenic Ooze or something like that, maybe. Probably want to do the Nightpack Ambusher, in all honesty. 2 cards in the graveyard. So they got no good attacks. And yeah, I think we go for the Nightpack Ambusher. Just means that we can start making 3/3s every turn when we're doing nothing. Because now we can flash thanks to Vivian. Vraska's Contempt on my Deputy. Alright, well. It's going to Llanowar Elves out there as well. So they get back a Risen Reef, which allows them to draw a card or put a land into play. Looks like drawing a card is their option. But we are in a solid position now. We can give Vigilance to the Nightpack Ambusher. And swing in with it. We're making 3/3s every turn. Our opponent is on chump block duty for the time being. And I think we're a Tolsimir away from our opponent never being able to actually resolve a creature ever again. We have a counterspell for things like Command the Dreadhorde, if that's why they're chump blocking. It seems a bit weird that they're blocking that early on. This does feel like I should Frilled Mystic it. I don't really want to give them double value, but then again I could just buy a Biogenic Ooze and that's pretty sick. Leaves me with 2 mana I can't do anything with. I probably should Frilled Mystic this. This could be a bit too aggressive. I don't really want my opponent getting double elemental value though. They're clearly elemental tribal. Yeah, so we've dodged like 4 triggers. I'm even going to get rid of the Surtress counter at this point. Blow that up, because they're getting close to being able to flip it. That might also be why they were blocking with the Healer of the Glades as well, to enable that, so we've removed that value from them. And yeah, it's just going to be land go, tick up on Nightpack Ambusher again.
There is wonder in a blade of grass.
Swing, 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 swing. Swing. 3 for 5. Yeah, swing. Taking it all. Wow. Oh, you're in trouble, my friend. If that is your line, we make another 3-3. We do have to dodge things like Command the Dread Horde. We'll see if they end up cropping up. Blood for Bones. Just gets back a Risen Reef. Yeah, you're dead. You are very dead, my friend. They get 2 triggers. They get back a healer. Draws. And looks like the ramp. Yep. Watery Grave into play. And a healer. Alright. So they get double Risen Reef triggers and a healer trigger. We get a Biogenic Ooze to make a 2-2. It's not the most overpowered flash in the world, the Biogenic Ooze, since this is on our end step that it actually triggers. But you know, 2 creatures for the price of 1, never a bad thing. Hope for a Frilled Mystic, and we never get to find out. So our opponent is too far behind. Damn, son. Well, interesting set of matches that we had today. We never really got a decent chance to actually show off the art bow there. But I think that's actually a good thing, per se. Because, you know, when you're making build-around cards, there is a build-around deck, should I say. There is always that chance that the build-around deck itself is actually pretty terrible without the build-around cards. So when we're building around Vivian's art bow, we want a very heavy creature focus. And obviously, if we're building around Nightpack Ambusher, we want a flash focus. So we've kind of got that going for us as well. But yeah, we just never saw any of the art bow shenanigans all that much. So still being able to win in kind of a mid-range value fashion was really good for us there. But yeah, this deck was a lot of fun to pilot. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for some more content like this in the future. If you really enjoyed this content though, let me know down in the comments section below. Greatly appreciate all that stuff. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to leave it off here, guys. Hope you've enjoyed, and we'll be back later on in the week for some more Magic Arena. Ta-ra!